Today we'll be talking about safeguarding women in basketball, and our topic is will be the cost of silence. Like, what will be the result of silence if women are not safeguarded and they keep quiet about it? How would it feel, or what will be the impact on for of that violence on that player? And this is a topic that we hardly talk about, not just in sports but in general, like when women are sexually violated, especially in Africa, Gambia. There's this culture of silence that we just don't like talking about things like this, and I believe this will be a very impactful conversation today.
Yes, I agree. That was a great
Yeah,
introduction. Perfect.
perfect.
Yeah,
So we will
perfect.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first question will be, how does the lack of safeguarding limit a female athlete's ability to gain exposure?
Well, so if we talk in general, then, and then maybe later we can go in specifically into Gambia or Africa,
Mm-hmm.
but I think in
Yeah.
general, I think it can
Yeah.
create a lot of lack of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you see and you notice that there's a lack of safeguarding, you won't feel comfortable enough to expose yourself, like put your talent out there. Because if you
Oh,
know
there.
that certain things can happen in within your own country, wherever you may be in the world, what happens when you go to another foreign country that you don't know the rules, you don't know the people, the culture, etc., etc. So I feel like it can create a lot of lack of trust,
Yeah.
perhaps even insecurity as a player, as a person yourself. Um, and I just feel like whatever starts from where you are right now, it can also create a lot of insecurities and maybe, like you have a lot of thoughts and questions in your head. It can give, it would be more of a setback and more than instead of feeling like, okay, I want to go and put up my
Yeah.
highlights, do all of this so I can put myself out
Yeah.
there for a new coach to see me. We already have
Mm-hmm.
current coaches that are treating you very strange, already.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's something that can be a big factor. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one because as a
Mm,
woman, the
yeah.
experience how it can be, especially when you're being violated. And with the insecurity part, we are most times insecure about a lot of things. So when these type
Yeah.
of stuff happen to us, it just increases the level of insecurity that we have with us, especially with our body. Because if you see
Mhm.
that the jerseys we wear, imagine somebody who has been sexually violated has to wear a short and just an armless, shirt. How will that person be very comfortable to wear that to actually, give it her all when there's a game or something? So, yeah, that was a very, very good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
agree
the
with you.
next question will be, why do young girls often hesitate to post their achievements or growth?
So I think the first and the second question, I think they kind of go hand in hand there as well. The lack of
Mm-hmm.
trust and like some insecurities, not
Mm-hmm.
knowing what to do, what you should do,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like when we say like post your achievements, it can be all from a highlight to your the physical, like your medals, like all those stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It can also create like if a coach or somebody that you know that you don't trust, for example, sees all that stuff, you can get, for example, like bad people might have bad intent for you. There's a lot of stuff like that. Obviously, in Africa, we have that mindset. Obviously, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff
Oh.
within religion or culture. Not to post things, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because it can be seen as bad because people can see that, and that's not only religion; it can be culture too, anywhere. Now I'm
Yeah.
just speaking like in general, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's also something people can feel. Well,
Mm-hmm.
like now I'm talking about like female young athletes. That can be
Athletes.
something. Yeah. So, taking advantage of like, oh, we see that you had a great season last season. Let me help you out. I know this agent. And, you
Yeah.
do that. And maybe you don't have a good experience. So next time you want to post something, you're going to think like, wait a minute, last time I did this agent said this and that, and I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that would make people be like, let me not put myself out there. Instead, let me just go internal, like go into the people that I know instead of going to like random, not
Yeah.
random, but to other people that you really don't know, if that makes sense. So I feel like that can be also, like I said, it goes hand in hand.
Hand in
So
hand,
that's what I
yeah.
feel. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
With
Yeah.
the evil eye thing, I think that's that's one of the major parts, especially in the
Yeah, it is.
Gambia. People believe when you post too much about your achievements, you're gonna
Yes,
attract evil eyes, and
correct. Yeah.
which they call chat. Yeah, but there's this other thing that um in the Gambia, like when you post a lot about your achievements, people say you are trying to be omniscient, like you're trying to show off, like
You trying to
yeah.
show off.
So it's like yeah, even when people post their achievements, like people just gossip around. In Wolof, people would
Mm.
say, "Hey, kimo hamo bopam ki dafa buga ifi
Yeah,
graw
I
graw." Like,
know.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that can kill the confidence of an athlete. Like if I'm trying
Yes.
to make it, if I'm trying to, post stuff that will motivate me and motivate other athletes, but all that people have to say is that I'm just trying to be, full of myself, then I think it can
Yeah.
also kill my confidence of posting, which is very good for my exposure, because I don't
Exactly.
know who's going to see my video, but it's different. So I think that is also one of the reasons why, let me say, Gambian athletes don't really post.
Yeah.
It's better now because
Yeah.
then
Oh, that's good
we
though.
you can play a whole season and you won't see
Yeah.
any athlete. You can only see one or
That's
two athletes post
crazy. But
their
now,
their
obviously, it's
highlights.
changed. As you said, now it's
Yeah,
changed though.
now
Now
it's
more people
changing. Like yeah,
Instagram, TikTok, all that.
especially on Instagram and TikTok, we have a lot of Gambian athletes that post, especially on Instagram. They post their content on basketball, which I love so much because I'm a social media
Yeah.
person. Yeah, aside from basketball, I
Mm-hmm.
post a lot on social media, especially when it comes to my achievements. So
Yeah.
I love when I see other people post that. And I love that the Basketball IQ Center is here to motivate, athletes to just post their highlights and their achievements in sports,
Yeah.
which is very
Exactly.
important. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
next
No, it really
question
is.
will
No, I
be
agree with you, 100%.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. What are some unsafe power dynamics young athletes experience with coaches or staff?
So what I would say, it can be anything from, discrimination to like this like strange favorism, which is favorism can happen anywhere, whether you're a male or a female, obviously. But there's that certain thing. There's just something like female favorism within teams, especially young athletes with male coaches.
Yeah.
And also obviously sexual harassment too, and violations, like all of that is all, it's like in a big umbrella, everything just falls down under
Hmm.
it. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things, everything from, it can be coaches, it can be staff members,
Hmm.
whatever is physios, um,
Yeah.
all of that. So I've had discussions with players,
Hmm.
and they've shared with me their own situations they've been through, whether it is just discrimination, like everything from something that can be considered minor to something truly major, but still it's a big
Yeah.
thing for me. Wait, whatever is in the situation is still bad. It can be
Yeah.
physios, massaging, and there's just inappropriate, being alone with a young girl in a camp, for example, you have training camp, you can feel security or you cannot feel safe. Um, it can be coaches, you don't get playing time because didn't agree to do something, taking the keys from you so you cannot access the only gym that you have access to because you don't want to do something that the coach, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and it's crazy, it's mind blowing, and sadly, money talks louder than truth. For some places, it's so sad.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I
right.
sent you an art. Yeah, I sent you an article that whoever that sees this, they can just DM and we can send it or however you want to do it. It's so loud and clear yet so silent. I don't know how to really. It's mind
Yeah.
blowing. So
Right.
is happening all around the world. It's happening, but now more so. Now we're more specific within Africa. But it's also very common in Europe too. But
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact it's more the rules and regulation when it comes to Africa, and you can talk more about Gambia specifically. It's not as
Yeah.
you don't get the help that you need. So I just feel like it's just unbelievable, but
Yeah. It's
it
unbelievable.
happens. So yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
having discussions with players, they tell me certain things, and I'm like, wow, like this shouldn't happen. But sadly, because of
Mm-hmm.
the coaches have this power, or physios or
Yeah.
whatever staff member you are in the group or the team, a lot of clubs will oversee it because you're a very high profile player coach, for example, or you're very
Mm-hmm.
respectable in the community, or we don't believe in that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I feel like this is you're like you're kind of figuring
Yeah.
things out, like this
Yeah.
is actually crazy. So I feel like this type of that we're having is needed. Maybe more athletes, more female
Mm-hmm.
young athletes would talk to mentors like us so they can
Yep.
get the do's and don't not the do's and don'ts, but like the signs before. Like if a coach tell you this and that, make sure that you keep in the back of your mind that this is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what do you think? Sorry, I just went off running away here, but continue.
Yeah, it's okay. You actually gave me a lot
I
of
always
ideas
I'm like
because
going
I
with
didn't I didn't actually think about the physios and all the stuff because it comes,
yeah.
it's a team. It's a team. And the most rampant thing in the Gambia, I believe, is players having to go see their coaches individually.
Mm-hmm.
I believe like you can go see your coach as a team, but not like as just me go see my coach just like that, not about basketball, because I believe my coach is just there to guide me when it comes to basketball, maybe about school or like other
Mm-hmm.
life choices that I would need his advice. But I don't think I should be going constantly to my coach's house to do what. So I believe most times too our parents trust us with guardians outside so much that they don't look at the you know the arts of it. So
Yeah.
and the fact that most Gambian young people don't have that relationship with their parents to always speak up when stuff happen. It's either you
Yeah.
keep it in yourself or maybe tell one or two friends, and those friends are not gonna or maybe have the courage to just go to the police or just tell your parents. It's just like we're just gonna have it
Yeah.
inside us and just cry about it, and we're done. And if those friends just
Yeah.
forget about that, you yourself are going to live in that misery. Like it's going to traumatize you for the rest of your life, if not almost all your life. So I believe with the coaches also,
Mm.
I don't want to say they need a sensitization program, because obviously if you're not doing something right, you definitely know you're doing something that's not right. And
Mm.
you are not gonna do that to your daughter or your sister. And you should just look at every player in your team as somebody that you actually are the
Yeah.
father, just to treat everybody right. And with favoritism too, it's very rampant, having,
Mm.
favorites and showing it off. It's okay to have a favorite, player in a team, but don't show it off for everybody to see. And most of the times when that happens, you're also not helping the other players, because if you show that,
Yeah.
okay, FJ is my favorite, FJ is better than all of you, she can play than all of you, I won't care, because I'm like, okay, if FJ is better than me, then let her do all the work. Let
Mm.
me just let me just be here. Let me just wear the jersey and stuff. So that's a, I don't know. it's it's
Yeah.
a
No.
it's
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It makes sense. No. So just ask your question real quick. So in the Gambia for you, do you feel like it's not talked about? Obviously, you said that there was like this silence, of course, cultural.
yeah.
Do you feel like it is it like a Yeah, is it something you talk amongst with your like your friends or like your people around you? Is it something that's talked about? Because obviously in Gambia, it's a lot of youth development going on. Like there's a lot of tournaments, and a lot of this and that, and not only
Yeah,
just Gambia. Like I said, this is happening in different places in Africa, not only in
mm,
Gambia. like
yeah,
like I said, there's more. It's very broad. But
yeah.
as since you're living there, when you're there, you see all aspects: basketball, non-basketball. Like, do you see like this is actually true? Like this is actually happening there as well?
It's happening.
Yeah.
Like, let me say 99.9%. Um, for the in the Gambia, it's crazy because most of us were born during the dictatorship regime, and during that time, our parents were very scared to talk about
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like, we don't talk about anything. We don't talk about anything. We are not taught about human rights in school. The only thing we used to do in school is just learn the basics. Most
Mm-hmm.
of the times when you know about your rights is when you grow up, or maybe when you have a parent who's educated, she will teach you. If you are unlucky to have a parent who's not educated, you have to teach
Mm-hmm.
yourself. That, for example, myself, I didn't learn about my human rights till I graduated from high school, and I joined this human rights a workshop something. That's when I learned
Mm-hmm.
about my human rights, and that's when I started like doing this advocacy stuff on the internet, on
Yeah.
forum summits. So it's crazy because when things happen, it's I have a funny experience because I was sexually harassed when I was young, but I didn't know it was
Okay.
sexual harassment until I grew up.
Nah.
Like, and I never talked
Yeah.
to anybody about it. And this was like a family friend uncle, who we used to, I don't think we were related because I've not seen that guy. I don't think I can even remember that guy's face,
Yeah.
but I can still remember what happened.
Yeah.
So this is something that had to, traumatize me at this age. Like 2 years ago, I had to go to therapy. And it's really crazy
Yeah.
because I'm like, what about people that
Mm-hmm.
have to go through this at this age? Like at the age where you're way matured,
Mm-hmm.
at the age where you know about sex, about all this stuff, like, and you don't have anybody to talk to, you don't have
Yeah.
help, you're not receiving help from anybody. So yeah, it's crazy. It happens a lot in the Gambia, in schools, in Islamic
Mm.
schools, in the churches, everywhere, in sports, but we don't talk about it. Sometimes
Yeah.
there was this time I did this anonymous game where I would ask questions to young girls, and boys. And there were two occasions where somebody would text me that, okay, there was this specific girl one, that a lady that she looks up to me. I don't really think I'm a mentor, but I always try to advise her when it comes to school and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
she texted me that, okay, I have a friend that has a question. She was sexually harassed, and this happened, and she's asking if she's still a virgin, because that's the biggest issue. We take being virgin like a very huge thing in the Gambia, especially when you're
Mm-hmm.
getting married. Like, most of the times,
Mm-hmm.
like, you should not disgrace. I feel like it should be about
Mm-hmm.
myself. You get. So she asked whether I would, if the girl was still a virgin. I was like, I don't know, but I could give you, I could ask a friend, a doctor friend, for you. And later she was like, it was not a friend, that was me. And I was in
Okay.
knots by that time, because I'm like, okay, did you tell any of your family members? She was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, nobody knows in my family. You're the first person I told.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other anonymous games that you'll see on social media, like the children will post, somebody will text, this and this and this happened with my boyfriend. So it's not just elderly people doing it. Our partners, young partners are also doing it.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend forced me to. Is it rape or not? So most of the times, young girls don't even know what is rape and what is not rape. They don't even know. So they will think maybe if I'm with this guy, and he forces me to have sex with him, it's okay because it's my boyfriend. No, it's not okay because I didn't give consent. So I feel like the conversation around sex and everything, it's not adequate for young people to learn more because they don't know. You cannot address or fight for something that you don't know. So I feel like the conversation around it should be done more,
Yeah.
so that sensitization can be 100%, because until young people know their rights, that's the time they can fight or speak about it. But
Mm,
if they don't, it's very
yeah.
hard. Yeah,
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. Let me see. Oh
the
no, no,
network.
I heard the last part now. It was breaking up a little bit. Yeah, no, but
Okay.
yeah, it all goes like we said, it goes all hand in hand. Knowing your rights, knowing what is right or wrong, as especially as the young
Yeah.
girls, whether you're 14, 15, 16. Um, as we
Mm-hmm.
said, our mentorship here, this platform,
Yeah.
if you correct me if I'm wrong, ages was like between 14
Mm-hmm.
to 24 or something like that, right? More or less.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this all goes to any age, not only those ages specifically I just mentioned, but it just shows like it's just good to know. It's never too late to learn. Like if you don't know anything now, just educate yourself today,
Mm-hmm.
so you know. So if you want to go overseas, if you want to go anywhere, even if it's in your
Yeah.
local, like in your country, wherever, just know what is the rights and the wrongs, and yeah, just educate yourself. So yeah.
Sure. That's it. That's it. Just know. Just learn. Because I actually taught myself, so it's crazy. But like it's good
Mm-hmm.
that we read a lot, and I feel like that's one thing
Mm-hmm.
that's lacking in most young people, especially in Africa, Gambia.
Yeah.
We don't like to study.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and thank
But
you for
yeah,
telling me that too. Obviously, it's different to be, being born and raised in Gambia, and compared to being a Gambian also myself, but not being born and raised there. Even though I know the culture and I
mm-hmm.
know everything, I know
Yeah,
Gambia. It's still gonna be a difference, because I'm not living there. I'm not there 24/7
there.
as you are. So you see things that I don't
Yeah,
see, and I see things here and
yeah.
overseas that you may not see. So I feel like this is a great way to combine it, because certain things that you just mentioned now, I've thought about it, but just hearing it again, like right here, just be like, okay, now I'm deeping it really,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, this is actually legit. Like this is
Yeah.
really how it is over there. But it can change, and it's similar. It can be same thing here as well in Europe or wherever I am overseas. So that's really good. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. Always. So we go to the
Yeah.
next question. Um,
Mhm.
can exposure become harmful in unsafe environments?
Can you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Can exposure become harmful in unsafe environments?
If it can be use a handful,
Yeah, if exposure
is that?
can become harmful in unsafe environments.
Mhm. Got you. Okay, harmful. There we go. It was like breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a network.
Yes, as I think, yeah, I think I mentioned a little bit about that. Like as I said, if you start to get known or people know about you, and you're in an unsafe environment, that can attract people that you don't want to be surrounded by, or people helping you. If you're in a place where you know that there's limited
Yeah,
resources, right? But those specific people that you know, but that has it, are abusing their power. A lot of players,
yeah,
young girls that don't know much, can fall into that trap without knowing it, because they're seeing like,
yeah,
okay, I'm getting this great, having a good season. I'm hearing maybe somebody wants to contact me or talk to me about playing somewhere else. But I've heard it's a little bit, it's a little bit unsafe where I'm at right now. I don't know who I'm going to talk to. And then somebody just reaches
yeah,
out, and you don't really want that person to reach you out,
mm-hmm.
but that's your only solution or your only way out to make it.
Yeah,
Let's say it like that. Then you kind of feel maybe forced. As I said, like I've talked to. like not, I'm not saying like plenty of people, plenty of female athletes, but at least
Mm-hmm.
a good number of players that have mentioned to me like they feel like I don't know what to do. So I just went with this player or this former coach that I had or a current coach, but this and that happened or I didn't get what I was supposed to get. So it can be unsafe, of course. Exposure
Yeah.
is supposed to be something good, something
Mm-hmm.
positive, something like, yes, I've been struggling over here. I've been grinding every day. You know, this person telling me I cannot make it. Mom and dad maybe are telling me, you know, quit basketball, do this and
Yeah.
that. And I finally get the opportunity, and then I don't have
Mm-hmm.
anyone to help me, right? And then even if you're in a situation, like I said, you can feel like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I might have to just go with the flow here, even though I don't want to. And that can lead to something else that you didn't expect. That's how I see it. And also, like when I'm speaking about these things, it's not something I'm just bringing out of like nowhere. Like this is also like people that have came to me and ask me like, how do I go
Yeah.
overseas? And I'd be like, you can do this and that, and they'd be like, oh, but FJ, like I don't have that the ability to do so. I'm like, if you feel comfortable, please tell me what's keeping you away from doing what you want to do. And then they tell me certain things, right? And I'm in my head, I'm like, thank you for telling me this. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. For you know, let
Mm-hmm.
me see if I can help you the way I can. I'm not there physically
Mm-hmm.
with you, but let me see if I can maybe put you on to another
Yeah.
contact, maybe another agent, maybe another, you know, a former coach,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I feel like that's something that can help them get away from that unsafe environment. So that's how I see it. It can be harmful for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be
Yeah.
helpful, and I would want to talk about the mental aspect of it, especially when it comes to
Yep.
exposing yourself and having an opportunity, and you're not getting the help that you need, especially from from your family, because
Mm-hmm.
we have seen like most Gambian players that have gone abroad through basketball, they have been helped by other people. Maybe the coach tried to have a link outside, get somebody else sponsor the trip or something, but not from their family members. But it's like when you make it out
Mm-hmm.
there, you you have to put your family first, which I think is very unfair to yourself. But also, most of the times we don't have a choice because when I was doing all the work in here and I just needed maybe your financial support or emotional support, you were not given it. But when I make it out there, you're the first person
Mm-hmm.
that I think of. So I believe our families also need to
Mm-hmm.
really, help when it comes to our journeys in sports, because they play a big role, and most of the times the all the credit just goes back to them and not the people
Mm-hmm.
that were really, really there for you during the journey. So I believe it also affects the player mentally.
Yeah. No, it does. It does. The mental part can also be a very
Yeah.
tough thing to go through. You know, it's one thing to do like the physical
Mm-hmm.
work, you know, the training, the practice, all that stuff. But then also think about,
Yeah.
you know, it's gonna benefit me and the family. And you know, like I said, culture is also connected to this. Religion is also connected. Some people
Yeah.
practice it more. Some people practice it less. You know, it depends. You know, people have different views,
Mm-hmm.
mindset. So definitely,
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's a good one to talk about.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the next question will be, how should clubs and federations promote both exposure and protections, as well as male coaches and staff play in creating safe spaces for athletes?
Yeah, I feel like right now, should we talk? It's more so okay, Gambia or could you start with Gambia, for example? Because I feel like that would be a good way to start, and then I can pick it up from there within Africa
Yes.
and translate over how they do it compared to
Yeah.
here, for example.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, because actually that would be good to know.
Yeah. So I believe in Gambia, For clubs and federations to promote both exposure and
Mhm.
protection, it has to do a lot of work, social work on their players, because most of the times our clubs here and
Mhm.
coaches only care about the local league. They just want players to be focused on the
Okay.
local league and win. But most of the times, like our clubs don't really help trying to get opportunities for their players abroad. In the Gambia, you have maybe one or two, or maybe three clubs that help their players to
Mm.
have opportunities outside the Gambia, you know. And most of the
Yeah.
times here in the Gambia, when it comes to exposure, protection, everything, it comes with injuries and all that stuff. Most of the times when a player is injured in the Gambia, you take care of yourself. It's like when you have an injury, the club doesn't contribute in helping you get a physio
Mm.
because our clubs don't even have physios you get. So you have to go get your own physio, you have to pay, and you have to make sure you're okay till you're back at the court. And most of the times, maybe the coaches will not even check up on you, which I feel like the protection
Mm.
part is really not there like 100%, is not even there like 20%. So I believe for that to happen, clubs need to have like a strategy on having physios for teams. Each team at least have one physio, you know.
Mm.
um, Also trying to
Mm.
have sensitization with players where like when they have um, opportunities outside, how do you go
Mm.
ahead with it? Do you tell your coach for your coach to be the medium with you and that person, giving you the opportunity? Because we know nowadays that there's a lot of scams in the world. So
Mm.
how do I expose myself out there, and how can I protect myself as a player with the help of my club when something
Yeah.
bad is about to happen or something good is about to happen? So I feel like our coaches and clubs should be like the medium between us, social media, and any other thing that has to come to us, whether good or bad. They should be able to
Yeah.
control it in a way that won't affect us. Yeah, that won't affect us. So
Yeah. I like what you just mentioned. That you just said that there are certain clubs, not, yeah, some clubs, they only, focus on like just a few players. It's not like, okay, everyone here has a chance. It's not, they pick and see who can, which sadly is the truth, but at some places it's just like that. You have to make the cut to make it to that little roster of who people who can get help, sadly. But hopefully that can change,
yeah,
so it can be more like everybody has the opportunity. But one thing you mentioned when it comes to injuries, because obviously injuries is definitely connected to playing. If you don't have
playing.
access to physios, yeah, like no physios, or you said like doctors have, you need to
Yeah.
get your own doctor's appointments and stuff like that. There's no insurance for when you sign with a team or something like that. It's more so you play. If you're hurt, you're hurt. Hopefully you get better, and then we
Yeah.
can get you back soon. So one thing I would recommend for any players, now we're talking about young female athletes, but this also goes out for this section here, for example. It also goes out to
Yeah.
the young guys and the like older men's player in Gambia or in
Mm-hmm.
Africa. Make sure that you
Mm-hmm.
also educate yourself on this part too, not only on other things that we just mentioned before, but
Mm-hmm.
even this.
Yeah.
Learn how to, like, watch YouTube videos and learn how to tape your ankle. you know Learn how to
Mm-hmm.
YouTube and go there and see how to tape your ankle, what to do if you get a sprain. Like YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
social media has everything. Majority of people here right now obviously are using social media like crazy, and just internet everywhere. So try to educate yourself on that as a player yourself, because at the end of the day, in whatever level you're on, coaches, of course, they still want you to be good and all that. But if you're in a contract, for example, overseas, if you're hurt, you're hurt. They can kick you, like they can just fire you and get somebody else to replace you the same day, if you're
Mm-hmm.
injured. So that's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
like it's good to make sure that people know, whether you're a pro athlete overseas or if you're playing in a local team right now. like try to get at least the basic stuff, learn how to tape your ankle, or at least if you're supposed
Mhm.
to elevate your ankles or stuff like that. It might be something like it's not really a big deal, but trust me, when the moment happens, if an injury comes or if you see somebody like a friend of yours just twisted something and everybody's just standing there, it would be good if you would be like, no, 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 wait a minute. We need to elevate it. We need to put pressure on it. We need to wrap it up real quick for a few minutes, put ice on it real quick, and then walk on it a little bit
Mhm.
later. For example, if you can do that, you just help a player or even yourself if that happened to you to have like a major injury, for example. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's something as a player you should know, but also as a club and a
Mhm.
federation, they should also they should provide that for a club too, especially if they're younger
Yeah.
athletes. Definitely,
Mhm.
that's important.
Yeah. Thank you, FJ.
Of
That was a
course,
good one. That was a
yeah.
good one because we are mostly scared when our teammates have injuries. I had an injury like just
mm,
after the Corite like months ago. I had a knee injury. It was my
mm,
first time, but it was so scary. I
wow.
I cried a lot,
No,
and
like you just twisted your knee or something.
yes, my knee and
Wow.
my teammates were calling me one legged for like 2 months, which is very crazy
No.
because I'm like I was they still call me that and
No
I
way.
hate it, but how can I hate it when I'm with my sisters? They're my sisters, so I just let
Yeah,
it slide
yeah,
most of the
yeah.
time. So it was
It's all love
crazy.
at the end of the day. It's all
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
So we're gonna go with the last question. We're running out of
Hmm.
time, and
Of course.
that would be for you, FJ. How do you balance
Hmm.
being visible and staying safe? And what message do you have for young female athletes who are scared to speak up?
Well, as we have mentioned or we talked about before, I've always made sure that wherever I go, whether I'm overseas or, as I said, anywhere I'm going, I always try to make sure to see the
Yeah.
surroundings, the environment, to know more about the country, to know more about rules. It can be the smallest thing. Like I'm that type of person. If you mention something to me and I don't know about it, I will Google it right away. I will look up the information right away just to see. So I just know it right away
Yeah.
because I'm just like I like to know things. Um, and of course, as an athlete, I need to still be, put myself out there, expose myself as an athlete,
Hmm.
put my videos out
Yeah.
there, highlight myself. So, but at the end, I try to make sure that I put myself with people that I know of. If I'm, let's say, going to a place, a team that I don't know anything about, I'll contact me about previous player and be like, how did you like it? How was your situation? Good or bad? And I try to collect information so I can make my own judgment if I want to go there. And that can be the same thing for other young players. If they don't have someone to talk to, a young girl in Gambia, for example, I've had some girls contacting me, not only in Gambia, but from other countries in Africa. Like, feel free to send me a
Yeah.
DM. Like, I'm open to help you out. Like, I will not just be like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
have time. If I see your message, like, hey, like, I want to do this, but I don't know what to do, I will be open to help you
Hmm.
out. Okay, I'm not an expert like that, but I've been in different countries and played and seen different environments. So I've been collecting information and seen a lot of things. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that people can, ask me for advice or like information. Sure. So, and what was the other question you mentioned? You said how to keep myself visible, right? How do I
Yeah.
maintain to be visible? Yeah.
Visible and safe at the same time.
Now it's now. Oh no, it's breaking up.
Okay.
No.
How do you balance being visible and staying safe?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I kind of answered that one. Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah,
trying to
you
prepare
did.
myself. Yeah, trying to prepare myself and, the area and also myself, and obviously now I'm older. Luckily for me, I've been in safe environments overall, but also still as a female players, you can still look at some people and be like some coaches, something. You can be like, nah, you can just get a vibe like, I don't think this
Yeah.
is a good idea to maybe,
Yeah.
play in this team. and then you can just
Right.
look the other way and go somewhere else. Like there's certain intuition, like you have this feeling, like the gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you should always follow it. If you feel like something is not sitting right
Yeah.
with you, try to go the other way and look for other options.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, so that's how I balance it. Try to know what's happening, where I'm going, the environment, and also just educate myself. So, and it's working. So
Yeah.
I feel like anyone that needs help, feel free to just contact me. Whether it's to talk about basketball or if you
Yeah.
want to talk, like yeah, for sure, I'm open to
Okay.
it.
Wow, now I just took the light off. Oh my god. I'm glad we're done. I'm glad we're
Hey,
done.
Gambia. Hey, Gambia, like, Gambia, hey,
I'm
no
glad we're done
connection.
because I would have cried. Oh my god. But what I would just say
Ah,
is
Gambia.
adding to your advice is just not ignoring the red flags, because most of the
Oh
times when
yeah.
we see stuff that we really love, we just ignore the red flags. We don't want to look up about those things, and we just don't want to do the investigation, the small investigations that has to do with our well-being. So that was a
Mm.
very good advice, and I believe they take heed. And honestly, if you really want advice on anything, you can reach out to FJ, and she's gonna respond. She's
And
really
to
good
you
at
too.
responding to
To Rohey
messages.
too.
Yeah.
Everybody make sure you get content. Rohey has a lot of knowledge and everything when it comes
Oh
to
God.
basketball, non-basketball. Yeah, you're also a good
Thank
person to
you.
talk to, for sure.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. It was really nice having this session. I hope we will back
Thank you.
soon, to talk
Yes.
about other topics that would help
Hmm.
improve female athletes in the Gambia, Africa, and worldwide. Thank you so much, FJ.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, you too. Take care.